Hey guys, Vern. Today we're going to talk about Istanbul. I've been here for 30 days now, and I want to go over my thoughts and impressions of Istanbul. Let's check it out.
Hey, Vern.
So when coming to Istanbul, it is the 15th largest city, and in Europe it is the largest city with about 15 million people. So you can imagine everything is moving and grooving. It's going pretty fast. So if you were to land, let's say in New York or LA, and everybody's going somewhere, they're moving fast, they're walking, and they look at you and they look away. They're not really looking to connect to you. They've got things to do. They're busy. So it was really hard to connect to people. There was, I'd say, a group of people that would be sitting down having tea, but without knowing the language, it was really hard to inject into that and become a part of that group. So I kind of felt a bit of an outsider. And when I did talk to the people using English, and if they didn't understand English, it would be kind of like, I'd get this really weird face, like, we don't know what you're talking about. I would pull out my Google Translate phone and I would break the ice with a few words, and then they'd kind of get diffused and they would try to help and they would talk back using the Google Translate. So it was really an invaluable tool. Without that, I think I would have missed a lot of experiences here. So that helped me to break the ice and to get the human factor out of the people living in the city, but it was really hard. I think people here are very sociable, but unless you speak the language, it's going to be very hard connecting into that group. And like I said also, this is the big city. So imagine the same type of a feel trying to talk to people in LA or New York that you don't know. They're like, yeah, who are you? What do you want? And so I did get a lot of that. I don't think it's the people don't want to talk to you. I think they're just busy. That was kind of the big vibe that I got. So for me, I thrive on human interaction probably more than I do seeing the sights. To me, I get off and I get a little more value off of those things. Speaking about transportation, I want to say that this had probably the best transportation system of any place I've ever been. Everything was clean, everything was on time, everything was very orderly. There wasn't anything that I had to complain about. Once I reached one destination, boom, there was another mode of transportation ready to go. I didn't have to wait around for anything to get anywhere, and it was just seamless. Everything was quiet, clean, orderly, professional. Everything was well lit up. There wasn't anything I could really complain about, and it was cheap. You could buy one pass to run all the different modes of transportation, and I think it was maybe 30 cents US to go from one destination to the other on, say, a tram or a rail. It was outstanding. It was a really good experience. Not having a vehicle, I could live here without a problem. And I'm a gotta have a vehicle type of a guy, so for me to say that, that's pretty rare. When I met a couple guys at the airport where did we land? Right in Istanbul. Right when we got off the plane, I met a couple guys there at the airport. And I chatted them for a while, and they had said that you need to try all the food in Istanbul. And I'm a little reluctant on trying things. My digestive system is a little funny at times. And I noticed that here they have a flatbread that is eaten predominantly at most of the places. And that flatbread kind of sat in my stomach and didn't go anywhere for a while. So I had some issues with that, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if there was a water, but I kind of pegged it onto that flatbread. And if I'm not eating the flatbread, I'm good to go. Now, one thing I noticed when they eat their bread, I don't see anybody putting butter on it. Maybe they're using the olive oil. I didn't quite figure that part out yet. But when they give you bread, which they do at most places, I didn't see anything to put on there. Now, the other thing, when I ate at the first couple places, the food was kind of bland. It wasn't that flavorful. And I thought, how can that be? In an area that is so known for spices and a trade route and the connection to all these different countries, how can the food be bland? But yet it was good, it was fresh, but it didn't have a lot of flavor. And so I wasn't sure what to think. And after experimenting out into a couple other places, I did find food that had a good flavor that I was very satisfied with. And I had an enjoyable experience doing a little bit of a foodie trip here and there, and so that was exciting for me. Now, the food cost, you can eat anywhere cheap for maybe $2 US, $3 US for a meal, averaging about 10 for a nice sit-down meal in the heart of the big city in Istanbul, which is pretty amazing. When I also came here, I didn't know the costs of anything. I just kind of felt that it was going to be cheaper, and I was just diving in. I didn't really choose to go traveling and do these vlogs. I needed a place to go because my home in the Philippines wasn't an option because my visa was up. So this is my journey of experiencing a new country without saying, hey, we're going to go here, we're going to go here, we're going to go here, we're going to go here. It's just like, I got to go somewhere. Where am I going to go? Let's try this. Okay, what are we going to do today? We need to make a video. So let's check this out. And so I'm going through things that I find that are interesting that you might find of value. So that's kind of how these vlogs have been dictated. Now, one thing I've noticed is the cost is kind of similar to the Philippines, but yet here you have a really high tier of options. You can go and spend $1,000 US dollars a night on a place here. That's how high-end this place can be for you if you want ultra luxury. Or you could go all the way down to the bottom and you can rent a room space in somebody's room and pay maybe 100 to 200 US dollars per month. So you can live really cheap here. You can travel on a budget, but you can also spend your money like there's no tomorrow. So whatever you want is here. That's one thing I noticed about Istanbul. They've got the best of everything here. It's first world class. If I compared the roads to the US, they are exactly the same. If I compare the construction to quality, they have the same high standards of quality. There isn't anything lacking if you were to build a nice building. It's all of a really high standard. They have all the good tools. Everything that you could want back in your first world country, you can find here in Istanbul. No problem. So the people, what are the people like? I'm still trying to get that vibe. I'm in this big city. I'm not a big city dude anymore. I grew up in Minneapolis, and to me, I never really connected with that because I kind of felt like I connect to people, and if I can't connect to the people, I'm missing something. I'm missing my fun spirit. And so I'm really looking forward to getting out of the big city and traveling south. And so tomorrow I start doing that, and I'm going to check out a couple of medium-sized cities, and then I'm going to a very small city, which is going to be Ephesus, and it's called Seluk, I think what it's called. So many things here phonetically are pronounced so different than what you'd think. One subway line was called Kabatash, and it's spelled Katabas for how my brain would hear the sounds and the letters said together. And when I asked people, where is the Kabatas train? They're looking at me like, what? What are you talking about? And we were on the Kabatas train, funny enough. And it's really difficult. A lot of the sounds that they speak, I've never heard before in my life. I don't even know how to put those words, sounds, letters together, let alone try to repronounce them. It's a real challenge coming to Turkey, not knowing the language, trying to connect to the locals. And for me, I'm looking for people that know a little English to kind of get things started. And that's what I'm hoping to find. And if I can't find that, I'm going to be stuck using Google Translate, which would be unfortunate because I really want to know the heart of the people. I want to connect to that. I want to find the joy of becoming one with another person here and knowing what their heart and their spirit is like. And that for me is what finding Turkey will be all about. It's about that deeper connection, something that is really hard to find in the city. Now, when I stayed at one of the internet cafes uploading my video, I just had a really rough time. And the guy plays music all day long there, and it's all Turkish. I've only heard like 2 American songs the whole time I was here before this moment. And I'm talking to the guy, and I thought of a song that I wanted him to hear. And I told him the song, it was on YouTube, and he ended up playing it. And then after a while, he let the videos keep playing. And so there I'm listening to George Strait in Istanbul in the internet cafe, and I'm thinking, where else is this going to happen in Turkey, right? It was a really weird experience, but it was cool because he was kind of getting into something that I was familiar with, and I was learning what his vibe was like and his different music, and it's very different. And it seems like they're really set into this subculture that I'm completely unfamiliar with. And maybe also because they're set in their subculture that they're not very familiar with my English subculture. And hopefully we can find a ground in between where we can meet and connect. And that's what I'm looking for. That's my goal for coming here, for learning of a new people. So hopefully you'll enjoy that, and I'll bring you along for the journey, all right? Thanks, guys, for watching, and thanks for supporting. If you haven't, please throw me a like and subscribe already. Darn it. All right, thanks, guys.